of fundraising, just a lot of effort that all the parents put in, and a lot of what we did wouldn't be possible without you guys. So I do want to say thank you for everything. First year going back to Florida in a handful of years, and obviously a new venue. I think it was a success. Fellas, you guys have a good time? Yeah! It's a good way to get the season started. Didn't really know what to expect going down. And for those who went down, I think you guys would agree that good venue, good competition, one really late game. But to come back 3-2 and having played some really good competition. Great way to start the season off. So I will say this is a season where, top down, I couldn't be more proud of these kids. Worked their butt off, dating back to really fall workouts when the OHSAA changed the rules on the number of people we can have doing voluntary off-season workouts. At no point do we have issues with filling those spots. For those who don't know, basically we went from basically 6 people at a time with one coach to basically we can have multiple groups at a time. There were times that when I was no more done filling out the sign-up sheet, and these guys had already signed up before I even sent an email out or whatnot. So to see guys that are wanting to get work in, that are eager, looking to get better, you can't ask for much more. So very proud of them. Another thing is grades. These guys took care of what they needed to take care of in the classroom. We didn't have issues with grades. And again, they're student athletes. Student comes first. And they did what they needed to do. Had seniors with 3 co-valedictorians. So, that just goes to show you the character that these guys have. So, again, very proud. To kick it off, this year we had some great successes, and we had a couple of standout guys that were recognized both by the conference as well as the area. Jameer Ross was first team all GWAC. Jameer, you want to come up? So I'll go over the back of Jameer's baseball card. Jameer led the team in average on-base percentage, runs, and he led the conference in stolen bases with 24. In addition to that, he was just, he was a spark plug for the team. We'll touch base on it a little bit, but Jameer was a guy that came with a positive energy every day, and to see the conference recognize that was very proud of him. So if we give him one more round. So Nathan Teller was awarded second team all GWAC.
Oh my God.
So Nate threw 37.2 innings, so he threw the most on the team this year. Was 4-2 with a 3.7 ERA and a 1.5 WHIP. Nate took the bump whenever he could. He was ready to go at any given point. Played a big part in some of our big wins. Anytime we get an opportunity to be Centerville, it's a good day. So let's give it up for him one more time. And then lastly, Dylan Allman. So Dylan threw the second most innings this year. Threw through 33 innings, he's 3-3 with a 3.1 ERA and a 1.8 WHIP. The one thing I'm excited with Dylan is I get him back next year. So we're definitely looking forward to that. Dylan was a guy that was ready to go, was eager, and again performed when we needed to. So we give him one more. So next up, I would like to welcome our JVB head coach Matt Pfeffer.
All right. I tried to come prepared, unlike last year. Did a little crappy speech last year. All right. All in all, I was JVP coach this year. I thought we had a pretty good year. I think our record was 15-8, which is an improvement upon last year. And it's not because of the coaching; it's all due to guys. I thought we had a very, very talented freshman group this year. I want to invite them all up here. So go ahead, guys. If you want to. All right, the first guy I want to talk about is Andrew Bogner. Why don't you step up there? So, Andrew, the best way to describe him would probably be a student of the game. Andrew always was coming to me with a question, wanted to just really a lot about pitching and then just about certain things in the outfield, but always had a question. I know Andrew wanted to get better. Andrew threw a lot of innings for us this year. One thing I found out quickly about Andrew, as soon as we got outside, he kind of separated himself with his arm, and I immediately knew there was something to go on the mound there. So we put him out there in a lot of tough situations, and he threw really well for us. And as the purpose of this team, he got a lot better for us. So I was happy with the progression Andrew made this year, and I know he's going to be an impact player one of these days. So Andrew, and give it up for me. The next guy I have is Caleb Goff. Caleb was honestly a big help to the coaching staff this year. Early on in the year, when we were trying to figure out where guys were going to go, it was kind of up in the air as far as what we were going to do with guys. But Caleb was able to come to me on a lot of occasions and say, Coach, I think we should put this guy in the lineup, or maybe he can play this position. A lot of guys, I didn't know where they could play, and Caleb helped us out with that. Caleb also came in a lot of big situations this year and threw some quality innings for us. He had a really nice curveball, he threw a lot of strikes, and just did what I asked him to do when he got out there, which is throw strikes and report outs. So I was happy to see his progression on the mound, and I know he's going to be a guy that comes back, gets stronger, improves, athletically and stuff. He's going to be a good player for us one day. The next guy is Chase. Chase was a big-time impact player for this year, whether it was at the plate or at third base, or honestly, the pitching mound is where Chase did most of his work this year. I don't know, how many complete games did you start this year, Chase? 3? 2? 2, okay. So he threw a lot of innings for us this year, and pretty much it came down to if Chase came out, it was because his arm was hurting or whatever, but I never had to take Chase out because he was getting overwhelmed out there, getting beat. I don't think he lost the game this year, and I'm not sure of his exact numbers for this year, but I know for a fact he had a sub-1 ERA, and that is not a joke. He was very dominant out this year on the mound. So give it up for him, please. The next guy I'm going to talk about is Dalton Walden. He's probably the most quiet kid on the team we've got, but with that, he's very coachable. The only words I could ever really get out of him were yes sir, no sir, yes coach, on occasion, whatever it was. Dalton was also willing to do anything he could to get on the field. He was kind of, that other infielder we had this year. He was rotating between second base and, playing some other positions out there. Unfortunately, we tried to make him a catcher, and he broke his thumb the first time we were practicing it. Got slid into because we practiced hard on the JVB team. And he was out a lot of the year, but he was able to come back, and I think his first game back, what did you have? He had a 2-hit day with a few RBIs and a win. So unfortunately he missed a lot of the year, but when he was able to be on the field, he was a solid player for us. So, yeah, good year. The next guy I want to talk about is one of the twins on our team, Gage Hoke. Gage was a player that was kind of funny. At the beginning of the year, there's a funny story about Gage where we were having everybody kind of clean up in the gym one of these days. And we look out the double doors, and all the coaches already told the guys to go home because we weren't paying attention. And we realized we needed to clean up, so we're calling everybody back in. We look over and we see Gage trying to kind of sneak out of the way, and Rexon kind of got into him a little bit. It was funny. But he was able to kind of turn that around in my eyes. We kind of thought he was, just out here to have fun. And no, Gage is a very serious ball player. He's a very unselfish ball player, too. I know he wanted to play a lot more shortstop this year than he got the chance to, but he caught for us a lot this year and did an absolute great job behind the plate. He was also our leadoff hitter every day. Had him play there from game one, and we never had a reason to take him out of the lineup. Probably our best hitter on the team this year, so I can say that confident average-wise. But yeah, I was very happy with Gage this year and what he was willing to do for the team. He was a great teammate, very unselfish, and I can't wait to see how he progresses. Now, we have his twin, Garrett. Step up, dude. Garrett would have probably hit about 600 this year with a ungodly slugging percentage if he would have hit the ball fair. He almost killed me about 7 times because all he did was crank the ball down the third baseline. He was Deadpool all year. That being said, he still was a great player for us this year. He was kind of our guy that we could plug him wherever. He played every position in the outfield at some point this year. He played third. He played maybe short one game, I don't know, but played a lot of second base for us too. Just a great athlete and a great hitter. Hard worker too. He's kind of the quieter of the two twins, so sometimes I appreciated that. But still a fun guy to be around. He's a real funny kid once you get to know him. So looking forward to seeing him in the future as well. The other guy that I want to talk about now is Jack Steele right here, another twin. Last year I got the chance to coach his brother Eli, and that was a lot of fun. And then this year I thought it'd be a lot of fun to coach Jack too. I was kind of mad at him for not playing last year, but he came out this year, and it was a lot of fun coaching him. Jack was another guy who threw a lot of quality innings for us. Hitting the 4-hole a lot this year for us. I think at the beginning of the year he started off, he had 8 hits and 6 of them were doubles. And I was kind of wondering what this dude was doing on our team for a little bit there, but he kind of slowed down a little bit. That's baseball, but he continued to hit the ball really well for us. Actually hit a home run off of me this year during batting practice one time, so that was pretty impressive. But he, played a great first base for us this year, and it was really fun to have on the team. So. The next guy is John Hansberger. That's the usual reaction whenever John does anything. John is kind of the heart and soul of the team, to be honest. He is probably, during the winter workouts this year, I can say without a doubt, John was the hardest worker that showed up to everything. He wasn't the strongest dude in there, but he was definitely pushing himself the most. He was winning every race, and then that continued into the season. Everything I asked John to do, he did it. He went down most of the year with an elbow injury, and and then still was an asset to the team because he'd sit there and do book for us. And I think he only got the score wrong one time, so he was pretty good at that. But one of my favorite memories of the year was actually one of our last games when John was able to come back and be healthy. I was able to insert in the game to pinch run for one of our guys, and John comes up and gets picked off and kind of has an awkward slide back into first base. At that point, I noticed he wasn't wearing his cleats because he didn't think he was getting in the game, so he was kind of sliding a little bit. Then he comes up, and without Coach Lee or me telling him to, he steals second base, and then there was an overthrow at second, so he comes over to third, and the entire dugout's going crazy and everything. And this isn't a 1-to-1 ball game at this point. And then, obviously the pitcher was scared of him at that point because he saw that he was a threat on the base path, and coaxed the guy into balking, and John was able to go home and score the winning run. If he would have got out, he would have been in trouble, but he did good. So the next guy we have is Keeson Webb. Keeson can be a tough nut to crack on occasion, to be honest. But once, I got to know Keeson, he's another one of those players that is honestly a student of the game. I remember in winter workouts a lot of times he was coming up to me, asking me to help him with pitching, asking me to help him with hitting, and I told him I'm probably not the guy, go ask someone else. But Keeson, he came to work every day. He was a hard worker, he cared a lot about, what he was able to offer to the team. He probably had the best play of the year this year as well, against Springboro to end the game. He was playing first base, a day. I think he was 2 for 2 already that day, or had 2 hits at least. But comes up and tough throw from Randy over at shortstop, and he's able to make an absolute, I don't care at what level he's playing at, MLB, whatever, it was a heck of a scoop. Full split as far as he could go. Just picked it out of the dirt, and we won the game because of that play right there. So it was a great memory, and I can't wait to have him back. The next guy we got is Luke Mangy. So Luke hadn't played baseball in a few years, and he had a few wise family members try and come to his side and tell him, maybe he should give it another shot. And Luke came out and, made the team, obviously. And it had been a little while since he's played. There was obviously some rust to get knocked off, but through that, Luke showed that he is very coachable. He came in willing to listen every day, and throughout the season, he made as big a strides as anybody in the program, probably. I know his swing got a heck of a lot better. His arm definitely improved a lot. And one thing that I thought was impressive about Luke was from day one, he could catch a fly ball, which is, you need to do that. And also Luke proved to be one of the smarter guys on the team, honestly. I know we ran a few plays and, surprising that, but we ran a few plays. And Luke was able to come in from right field and tell our shortstop, tell our catcher, tell our infielders what was going on. And you usually do not see that from outfielders, but there was a few times this year where Luke was able to come in or make a suggestion, hey coach, maybe we should run a little daylight right here, something like that. But I thought that was very impressive. So. The last guy that I'm going to talk about is our slugger on the team, Zach Griffin. So Zach was another kid. I think he started off maybe in the 5 or 6 hole, and he moved himself into the 3 hole, and he stayed there the rest of the year. He kind of solidified himself as that guy, that extra base hitter. When we needed a fly ball to knock a guy in, Zach was the go-to. Had a lot of power, a lot of good hits this year, a lot of extra base hits. He was also, the biggest stride that I saw Zach make throughout the year was his ability to catch the ball and track the ball in the outfield. I thought at the beginning of the year, I wasn't really sure what we were going to do with our outfield. Sometimes it could get sketchy when I was hitting fly balls. But by the end of the year, Zach was one of those guys, if there was a fly ball towards center field, usually the pitcher could just start walking away, or, you know, you knew it was going to be an out when it was hit out towards center field and Zach was out there. So, good job. All in all, I had a lot of fun with this group this year. You wouldn't know it all the time by the way they talk to each other, but this is a very close-knit group. There's a lot of friends in this group. They can be pretty raw to one another every now and then, but in the dugout. But all in all, this is a good group, and I can't wait to see how they progress. And I think they're going to have a lot of success in the future. The last thing that Rexon just reminded me of is our team MVP. And this guy, he threw probably the most innings for us this year, definitely. Anytime he was on the mound, I was a much more relaxed baseball coach. I'm pretty sure most of these guys can attest I was pretty high strung in the dugout sometimes. When Chase was on the mound, yep, MVP did. When Chase was on the mound, we could all take a breath of fresh air because we knew he was going to get it done, and we came away with a W in the win, or the column every time Chase was around for us. So great year this dude. Or great year this year, dude. Sorry.
Next up, I'm going to welcome our JVA coaches, Jackson Hobbs and Brian Toll.
Alright, hi guys. My name is Jackson Hobbs and I am the JVA assistant. This is my assistant coach, Brian Toll. Oh, I'm the JVA coach. This is my assistant. Anyways, what a great season. What a great season. Coach Rexon said it kind of at the beginning, from top to bottom. I mean, we got great kids. All three teams having a winning record. As for our season, I'll get there in a minute. To begin, I would like to start off with thank yous. Thank you to Coach Rexon and the Northmont Athletic Department for allowing me the opportunity to do what I love, which is coaching baseball and positively impacting these young men's lives. Playing the game ends for everybody, but coaching allows myself and these other coaches to live through these boys, so I appreciate that opportunity. I also want to thank the rest of our coaching staff, especially my assistant, Brian Toll. The relationships that we have are unlike anything that I've ever been a part of in my life. Seriously, thank you guys. You guys have no idea how much you mean to me. I think so highly of all you guys, Coach Rexon, Coach Fott, Coach Toll, Coach Peffer, Coach Lee, and Coach Turner, who both couldn't be here tonight. I think us as a coaching staff have a wide variety of baseball knowledge and have unique things to offer these boys. Most importantly, we all have the same goal, for this program to be successful, and to help play a role in who these boys are and who they will become. As for Coach Toll, you guys have no idea how much he does for myself, our boys in this program. From filling out the lineup cards, to doing the scorebook, the game changer, throwing batting practice, adding insight when he sees it, stepping in when I was out for 2 games. They did go 2-0, and then he retired as the head coach. But more importantly, keeping things loose at practice and in the dugout for these guys, and also at times helping keep me sane. I couldn't do this without you, so thank you. I also want to thank the Dugout Club. They're behind the scenes, but they help this program go. From the fundraisers, concession stand, buying the equipment, the gear, and everything else you guys do. I can't speak for everybody else. I know Coach Rexon said it, but I know for myself, that trip to Florida this year, absolutely one of the best weeks of my life. And then finally, I want to thank you guys. Our players and our parents, parents are raising these kids. Like I said, we have great kids, and that's what makes this thing fun. Not once in my 2 years of coaching JV have I had to worry about any of my players being ineligible, which is awesome. That speaks volumes. Parents, that's because of you guys. And for our players, I truly love every one of you guys. The seniors that were sophomores when I started coaching here, seeing you guys grow and develop, that's why I do this. This is why we do this. To the guys I've directly coached, and to the others that I haven't, thank you for being coachable and for trusting myself and the rest of the staff. I could go on and on, but one more time, thank you. As for our season, JVA, we had a 15-10 record, including ripping off the last 8 of the season. For anybody that watched us play, the majority of the games knows exactly what I'm talking about. We had a bunch of highs, we had a bunch of lows. Our team consists of a few juniors, a handful of sophomores, and 6 freshmen that all played major roles for our team this season. A lot of growing pains, which I knew was going to be the case, but nothing we weren't able to overcome. We finished with a 6-7 record in the GWAC play, not including 2 more GWAC games for the tournament. And as for the GWAC, it's a love-hate relationship, believe me. I love the conference. I do love the conference because you have to bring your best every single night, or you can get beat by anybody. Wayne. But seriously, this is truly a great conference, and I believe Northmont is capable of, I don't know what I want to say. I guess I can read what I said. We're capable of making this conference run through us, and I believe that. As for the non-league games, I tell my guys all the time, we have to win all the non-league games. Our conference is too good not to be able to lose the non-league games and to be where we want to be. Not including Florida, we went 5-0 in our non-league games back here in Ohio, which is something that I was very proud of. JV baseball is truly about the development of these boys and getting them ready to play varsity baseball. I understand my role as a JV coach and understand that JVA and JVB baseball teams are the future of Northmont baseball. With that being said, let's talk about our players. Starting with our juniors, understand that being a junior on JV can be tough at times, with friends being on the varsity team and just wanting to play varsity, obviously. Our 3 juniors were great this year and led by example, which is exactly what we needed. First one, Ryan Up. Ryan Up is a great kid. He's been a majority of Ryan's a great kid. He spent a majority of the time on the mound for us as a pitcher. He brought a positive attitude every single day, regardless if he was in the lineup or not. Ryan had some good outings on the mound, but my highlight for him was our last game of the season versus Eaton. Ryan came in and threw the last 4 innings, gave up 2 runs, only 1 earned. And during that game, my favorite part of it was we tried throwing out a runner at second base, and I thought he was obviously out. He was called safe, but I stood up and kind of semi-walked out on the field, and Ryan looks over to me and says, "Hey coach, I got this." And he proceeded to strike the next kid out in 3 pitches. So Ryan, you did have that, man. Congrats on a great season. Next junior is Nathan Farrell. Another great kid. Fantastic season for us on the mound, including a couple great outings for Spring Road and Miamisburg late in the season. I felt confident and knew we had a great chance to win every single time we gave Nathan the ball. Nathan's dad, Tony, also had been helping out, been the voice of the Bolts for the last 2 years, playing walk-up music and announcing our games. So thank you to Tony and Nathan, and congrats on a great season. Our next junior is Dylan Chain. Another great kid. I actually had the opportunity to coach Dylan's older brother DJ in golf this year. Anybody wants to play golf, by the way, come see me. Dylan was an outfielder this year. The highlight for me with Dylan this year was actually one of our games early in the season versus Florida. Dylan had 2 or 3 hits. 2 of them were absolute rockets. I know Dylan would have liked to play a little bit more, but continued to show up with a positive attitude every day and was ready anytime his number was called. Congrats on a great season, Dylan. One of the sophomores, I got Donovan Post. Donnie, great kid. Spent a majority of his time at first base for us and got some innings on the hill. Donnie is a yes sir, no sir kid, would do anything for anybody. The game that stood out for me for Donovan was at Miamisburg. Donovan had one of our few hits that game and ran the bases extremely well. We executed a couple base running plays. And again, I mean, he's raw, but he's got the potential, so congrats on him. Our next sophomore is Eli Seal. Big E. I coached Eli in golf and baseball this year, so at this point he either really likes me or he really hates me. Eli always has a smile on his face, has a great knowledge of the game. Eli's bat got hot late this season, including a 3-hit game and a walk-off base hit against Beaver Creek. I'm excited what's in store for this next 2 years for him. However, it is time to get the golf clubs back out. My next sophomore who couldn't be here tonight is Landon Savory. For those of you guys who know Landon, he always could put a smile on my face and Coach Toll's face, regardless of what was going on. These guys just said it. Every game was a legacy game. Every at-bat was a legacy at-bat for that kid. The game that stood out for me for Landon was at Springfield. He had a nice base hit and then actually got to close out the mound on the hill. So congrats to Landon on his contribution. My next sophomore is Cooper Likens. Cooper spent a majority of his time behind the plate for us, as well as a couple games at third base. Cooper really hit stride about halfway through the year, was a monster behind the plate, mixing in some good hitting as well. There wasn't one specific game that stood out for me or moment that stood out for me, but this team would have not gotten where we got to, or not been where we are without Cooper, so congrats on a great season, Cooper. My next sophomore is Mason Wolf. So Mason joined us a few weeks into the season and also caught for us, played some second base. Mason actually had an incredible on-base percentage, led the team, and great plate presence as he led the team in walks. Mason's another great kid, and I'm excited to watch him continue to grow and develop these next 2 years. So congrats on a great season. My next sophomore who also couldn't be here tonight is Caden Nickel. Caden Nickel's also a great kid. Very quiet kid, but a great kid. Caden played a majority of second base for us, as well as getting some innings on the hill. My memory from Caden this year was at Springboro. We were down 7-0 after 3 innings on the verge of getting run ruled. And I gave Caden the ball, and he kept us in the game before eventually losing 8-5. Caden was another one I know wish we would have gotten some more playing time, but really stepped up late in the season for us, and I'm excited to see the next 2 years for him. Then I have Jaden Green. So Jaden was able to play for us a little bit down in Florida, but then was sidelined for the remainder of the season with a hamstring injury. Jaden, always positive attitude, very funny kid. I look forward to getting him healthy and excited for next year, so congrats on a good season, Jaden. Bryce Kugler, I think he's here tonight. Bryce was also sidelined due to an injury, but was the majority of our games and practices when he wasn't at PT. Bryce did game changer for us and was always positive on the bench. I'm ready to get him healthy for next year as well. So Bryce Kugler. Now my freshman. My 6th freshman, starting off with Ricky Braden. Ricky Spoons. Ricky's raw, has all the potential in the world. He spent a majority of his time with us in the outfield and on the mound for us. Ricky loves to ask questions and truly wants to be good. Ricky had one of our highest batting averages on the team, including a 3-hit game against Springboro. And actually during that game, I remember they were all 3 blue hits, and one of Springboro's kid looks over at me, I'm coaching third base, and he says, that dude hadn't had an exit velocity over 50 and has 3 hits, and I kind of just laughed at him. So that's Ricky, though. He also came in and closed the door on the mound late in the season against Miamisburg, so I'm super excited for Ricky these next 3 years, so congrats, Ricky. My next freshman is Brady Cannon. Brady, great kid, great kid. Brady's grand slam against Versailles, one of the furthest balls I've ever seen hit, one of the highest balls I've ever seen hit. As soon as he hit it, I said, that's fair, it's gone. BC spent a majority of his time at third base for us, with a little bit of time at first, and was one of our better starting pitchers. Like Ricky, Brady has all the potential in the world, and is really close to becoming a nightmare for the rest of the G1. So congrats on this great season, Brady. My next freshman is Brady Whitaker. Whit is everything you want in a baseball player. As a freshman, he was one of our leaders, one of our best players. I mean, he's a damn good baseball player. He spent a lot of time at shortstop for us, and he also had more hard hit outs than anybody I've seen. He threw a no-hitter against Miamisburg before eventually being called up to throw for varsity. The sky's the limit for this kid, and I'm excited to continue to be a part of it. So congrats on a great season. My next freshman is Austin Welch. Austin is a sponge. Austin is a Jones. He's always in the right spot. His only downfall is that he's little. He makes all the routine plays look easy. He also makes the hard plays look easy. Austin can handle the bat, a handful of bunt hits, sacrifice bunts. He played a majority of shortstop and second base for us, as well as anchoring down a handful of innings on the mound for us. He also actually played a few games in the outfield and never even batted an eye. The moment that stood out for me with Austin was when he picked 2 guys off in the same game against Beaver Creek on a pickoff move that we worked on all season long. So, that's the stuff that makes me super proud. It's like when we work on stuff in practice and then these guys are able to execute in the games. So, seeing that was special. So, I'm excited for Austin's future, and congrats on a great season. My next freshman is Aiden Pendleton. AP was our glue guy. AP can handle the bat and he's super fast. He started almost every game in center field for us and was a lockdown out there. AP started off slow with the bat, but then turned it on full gear about the last 10 games of the season. Our 2-walk doubleheader actually was at Northmont this year, and he had 6 games combined, or 6 hits in those 2 games combined. And I actually remember the second game against Fairmont, him getting over to third base after a base hit, and I said, AP, you are smacking the ball. And he said, yeah, I am, coach. So, I mean, that's just who AP is, positive energy every single day. Great kid, and I'm excited for what's next, so congrats on a great season, AP. And then my final freshman is Drake Sullivan. Another great kid, very respectable, very coachable. I was as hard on Drake as anyone, and he knows that. The ball just sounds different coming off his bat, and everybody in this program can speak on that. He hit 2 balls in our last game against Eaton further than I probably hit one in my entire high school career. Drake played a majority of the outfield for us, as well as spending some time on the mound before getting called up to get some time on varsity. Drake is special. Drake does things that freshmen don't do. If you play outfield in Northmont baseball, I'm sorry to tell you that there's only going to be two open spots for the next 3 years because this kid's taking one of them. For the reasons above, Drake has also been selected as our team MVP, so congrats on a big season and big team. Before I go, I just want to say one more thing. I told my guys at the beginning of the season that we had 3 goals: to have fun, to learn and get better, and to win a few games. And I hope all three of those held true. I loved every minute of this. I loved every minute of being your guys' coach. So thanks and go Bulls.
All right, boys, get up there. It is. To start off, there's not a collective group of kids that I've enjoyed coaching as much as this group right here. You know, they made it fun every day. They worked harder than I think any team that I've ever coached, and they had probably just as much, if not more fun. This is a group that I wish I could coach for 4 more years, but unfortunately that's not how this works. You know, going from 4 wins last year to 15 this year says a lot about them, says a lot about their work ethic. It was easy to talk about these guys this year. You know, the same things came up. The first one was they played for the guy standing next to them. They were truly a selfless team. They worked their butts off. They cheered each other on, and they had no quit in them. At no point did they give up, regardless of what was going on. And you can't ask for anything more, you know. You know, it's a group that, you know, you hate to see the season come to an end, but when you look back, you're pretty damn proud of what they did. You know, this is a group that, you know, looking at the Bolts coming up through the program, this is standard. You know, this is it. You know, these are guys that, I hope will come back and be a part of the program as they continue to progress with whatever their next steps are. And I think the thing I hope for the most of these guys is that you guys stay in touch with each other, because this is a pretty special team. And it's going to get harder to do over the years, but I think the more of an effort you guys put in to do that, the more you guys are going to appreciate it. A couple things. The first thing is I want to recognize the Dugout Club. I know Hobbsy did, but there's no way in hell that we'd be able to do the stuff that we've been able to do without those 4 ladies and their significant others. I mean, there's a lot of work, a lot of time put in, and you know the Florida trip alone, holy smokes! I mean, trying to do that solo it wouldn't happen. It wouldn't happen. You know, it really wouldn't. You know, trying to organize the concession stand and organizing all the various fundraisers. They are truly a godsend to me, and I couldn't be more thankful for them. My other coaches, these guys continue to teach me more than I ever thought possible. Now, I'll be the first to say that there's a lot of stuff that I have to learn. You know, when I came in here, I was never part of a program that believed in bunting. And so these guys have shown me not only that it works, but how to do it the right way. You know, it's a group of coaches that, you know, we have fun, and I'm truly appreciative of them and their baseball knowledge and their passion. I mean, I ask a lot from them. I ask a lot of their time. I mean, you know, starting in early September, we go 2 or 3 days a week, pretty much all the way through the season. I'm very thankful for them as well. To get us started, Nate Schomer. Nate's a lunatic, and that's the best way to put it. He's a ball to have around. You know, he's a guy that I think single-handedly was the spark plug at times. He kept guys up, worked his butt off. was ready to go and had a blast doing it. Nate's a kid that I'm lucky to have coached, and I'm lucky to have seen him grow and excited for what's next for him. Christian Pendleton. So this was Christian's first full year up on varsity, and that's because I made a mistake last year. He, I think, had every right to be up with us last year, and I actually apologized to him in the offseason that he should have been with us. I tell you what, he had every right to be pissed off at me, and he wasn't. We called him up late in the year last year, held his own, was a big contributor, and continued to do it throughout the year. For those that went down to Florida and understand what that Tuesday night game was all about. Back and forth, hour rain delay. I think we wrapped up about 12:30. We get into extra innings, and he's on the mound, and he comes back in and he goes, "Give me one run." Well, we gave him 10, and proceeded to end it that inning. He was also a Rotary Athlete of the Month back in April. Just an absolute joy to have on the team. You're not going to find a kid that works harder than him. You really aren't. So if we give him a round of applause. AJ Conti. So another senior, just at least by example. He works his butt off, he carries a good attitude, hell of a teammate. Took care of his stuff in the classroom. Was another guy that, there's a couple of pictures that Nate's dad took of him just absolutely losing his mind, and those are going to be ones that will, always live in my head. So I'm excited for him. For those who don't know, he's heading over to Columbus to play football at Capital University. I told his mom I'm going to put on some purple and go out and watch him on Saturdays this fall. So I'm excited for him. Drew Carver. Drew started the year scaring the crap out of us. Drew is a kid that I think he's harder on himself than any one person ever will be. And with that, he's about as competitive as they come. But I tell you what, when things don't go his way, he didn't quit. He figures it out. He works his butt off. And I tell you, it was fun to see it when it finally clicked for him. Our first game against Piqua, seeing him throw at the Dragons Field. I tell you what, he lobbied for an at-bat in that last game. I promised his dad that I wouldn't do it. Yeah, I think he was ready to punch me in the mouth because I didn't send him back out there. But I think that just attests to him. I'm excited for him. I'm lucky to have had him. If we can give Drew one more round of applause. The baby of the group, Brady Lupton. Brady's another kid that's harder on himself than any one coach will be. He's a guy that I think he carried a bigger burden than he needed to because he was the youngest on the team. I think he holds himself in such high regard, as he should. He works his butt off. He's a heck of an athlete. It was tough to see him get down on himself because I knew that he puts the work in. He doesn't look for the easy way out. And, frankly, again, I told him multiple times, I give him for a few more years, and I'm a pretty damn lucky coach to have him. So we give him one more try. Take it back. I'm pretty hard on Jake. I give him a hard time. But at the same time, he's a kid that will not be outworked. There were times in the offseason where I kind of had to protect him from himself because you go to the weight room, you go get his extra work in elsewhere, and you come back, and you can tell he's dog tired. We want to be there. He's not a guy that's looking to cut corners. He's not a guy that's looking to take the easy way out. He busts his butt. He's a damn good athlete. he's going to be one of our leaders next year as one of the old heads on the team. So I'm definitely excited for that. So we give Jake a round of applause. Brandon Hoops. Hoops is just a ball to have around. He's got a bit of a potty mouth, but no, Hoops was, he was just a guy that came to the ballpark, was ready to go, had a ball doing it. And I tell you, when him and Nate were turning over the place up the middle, you'd be hard pressed to find a smooth duo. He was a ball to have around. He produced on the field. And again, he's one of our co-valedictorians. And again, as a coach, what he does on the field is impressive, but taking care of that stuff in the classroom, sure, you get yours. Relax. When you take care of it in the classroom, it makes us even more proud. So let's give Brandon one more round of applause. Nate Teller. As Jackson Hobbs would say, Nate Teller is a dog with maybe an expletive in the middle of that. He was. Teller's a dog. He, whether he was playing short or whether he was on the mound, he wanted the ball when times got tough. He's the guy that when the game's on the line, he wanted to be up. He wanted to have control of that game. Again, like I mentioned earlier, to be on the mound in key wins, Centerville, Miamisburg, and down in Florida, it's what you want. It's what you ask for. When he wasn't on the mound, he was turning doubles with Hoops up the middle. And again, lucky to have coached him, lucky to have him wear our uniform, and excited to see what's next for him. Jameer Ross, also known as Prince. Jameer's going to be another one of the guys that, the senior class is going to turn over to next year. Jameer being a junior, he's going to be one of our senior leaders next year, and there's not a better guy for it. Again, leading the conference in stolen bases. Jameer was a guy that very often would send group texts, whether it was to get guys excited for a game or to pick them up after a tough loss. And to have that being done without a coach saying it, this was awesome. It was just cool to see. He was electric. He could single-handedly, kickstart this lineup, whether we were struggling or just to start off a game. I'm excited for what's next for him. What he looks like next year as a leader, one of the old heads on the team. So we give Jameer one more round of applause. Andrew Shingler. So Andrew was another kid that was tough on. As a catcher, kid has a thankless job. Putting on that equipment for as many games as he did this year, it's pretty much unheard of. But I tell you what, he did it, didn't complain, would continue to be an offensive weapon for us. And again, I was hard on him because I knew he could take it, because I knew he would take it to heart, and he'd continue to work to get better. As a guy that I had for another year this year, he was a leader. Bottom line, he was a leader on the team. And as a catcher, you got to be a captain on a team. He was a natural leader, natural captain. Came easy for him. And again, I'm excited for what's next for you, bud. So Dylan's another one of our juniors who's going to be one of the leaders next year, and we're definitely lucky for that. Dylan came on, took the mound, was ready to go whenever needed. We put him in some tough spots, and I tell you what, he didn't bat an eye. He continued to shove up there, continued to work hard. and to have him come back next year gives me a little peace of mind, and I think should give these seniors a peace of mind. They're leaving this team in good hands. So if we can give Dylan a round. Charlie Williams. Chuck was a ball to have this year. Bottom line, I mean, he was ready to go. He brought the energy. I know he'd like to play a little bit more. I know that, but I tell you what, he was the epitome of a teammate, of a guy that you want to have around. He's a glue guy. I mean, that's exactly what he is. And he busted his butt, worked his butt off in practice in the off season, and anytime his number was called, he was good to go. And he's extremely proud of him. And again, looking forward to see what's next for him. So. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Maddox has the best defense pitch in the entire state. Maddox is a competitor. Again, another guy that I'm guessing probably wish you just saw the field a little bit more. But I tell you what, when he got in the mound, you never knew. Those guys didn't know what was coming. They had no idea. I had multiple umpires, with the way that he pitched, because we don't know how to call that. We don't see anything like it. And it was fun to just see him get up there and compete. Again, another glue guy, show up to the field, ready to go, prepared. And anytime his number was called, he was excited to jump in there and he produced. So. Chris Gross. So Chris was another guy. Anytime he got it, he was ready to go. He came in and offensively held his own. Anytime he got in, we didn't have to worry about what did that bats really look like. Quality at bats almost every time. Produced, had a couple of absolute rockets. He was a blast to have on a team. And Chris, I'm proud of you, and I'm looking forward to what's next for you. So he can't make it tonight, but Connor Price was another guy. Connor did a little bit of everything. Played some outfield, pitched a lot for us. Connor was a guy that I put him in with the bases loaded in the middle of the inning more times than any one kid deserved. But it's like he didn't bat an eye. He would go in and just shove, and he would compete. And I tell you what, when he got a hold of balls, they sounded different. And a lot of times they end up finding the fence. So wish he could be here, but again, Connor's another one of our seniors, and I'm excited to see what's next for him. I'm going to ask three guys to come up here. Drake Sauber, Brady Whitaker, and Mason Wolf. You guys can come up here as well. So these three guys we pulled up for at least a handful of games each, and they contributed. While they didn't spend the full year with us, these are some of the young talent in the program that, playing up on a varsity level with their age can be tough, and I tell you what, I don't know what Whit did. 2 out of 3 times he was on the mound, our defense did not like him. So, but I tell you what, these three deserve recognition. They came in, big contributors at the varsity level, and these are 3 guys that I'm excited to see them continue to develop. So if we can recognize these 3 guys. And then our 3 team awards. Our first one is the Rookie of the Year. The Rookie of the Year is given to the athlete. It's their first full year at the varsity level. Dylan, come up here, son. a tough spot. You know, it's the position where you got the ball in your hand almost every pitch. And I think Nate Teller's the one that deserves that one. And our final one was one that we introduced last year. It's our Team Leader Award. You know, this award isn't necessarily tied to anything on the field. Could be. But to me, it's what does it mean to be a leader? What does that look like? You know, the attitude off the field, on the field, when you're in the game, when you're not in the game. And with that being said, Jameer. You know, again, Jameer's a guy that was one of the younger guys on the team. I mean, heck, we had 11 seniors, so he was one of the younger guys on the team. But I tell you what, you'd never known. Again, between the group text, you know, the constant trying to get people up when we were struggling, epitome of what a leader is. And again, we're lucky to have him back next year. So. Go ahead and get this wrapped up. I'm very lucky to be in this role. You know, to be someone who didn't come through here. You know, I think to you guys, unfortunately, grow up in that state up north. I'm very lucky to be here. You know, between the players, your parents, administration. You know, I'm very lucky, very grateful to be here. It's an absolute blast to coach with these coaches and to coach these boys. You know, and for me to have year 2 wrap up just continues to reiterate that for me. I appreciate y'all very much. A couple things for housekeeping. We, playing every year at the Dragons Field as we do, one of the things that they afford us the opportunity to is they give us a bunch of tickets that we can use to help recoup the cost of playing up there. It's not cheap, but they give us 250 tickets for 5 days out here. So I know there's an email sent out and some stuff put on social media, but if you guys are going to be going to the Dragons game this year, we got $5 tickets. They're typically 18. They're down the third baseline or down the first baseline, not too far from the dugout. So if anyone's planning on going this year, you can see Dugout Club up there and grab those. Money just comes back to the program. For everyone coming back next year, we're going to send out some information about the golf outing. We're going to bring that back. So we'll get that information sent out as soon as we have that. And so just look out for that when we get it done. So again, I just want to thank everybody. You know, there's a lot of work that you parents put in. And hopefully you boys appreciate it and understand it. You know, we're very lucky to have you guys continue to put in that work. And again, I appreciate you all. And already looking forward to next year. So thank you guys.